What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, your first line of defense against stupid movies. My name is DJ, and as always, I'm joined by my co host, my sister, Dory.
What's up?
And this week, we're going to go with a throwback, as we do every once in a while. We're going to be talking about Catch Me If You Can, starring Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio in his younger years. Like, how old was he in this movie?
I meant to look it up. I honestly don't know. So it came out in 2002.
20, wow, 2002.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't
it
know.
does feel kind of like a 90s movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So, I have to start off by saying this would not work in modern day.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but then I thought of have you watched Inventing Anna? It's
Mm-mm.
the Netflix show. Apparently, it's about some girl who was going around telling people that she was like some rich socialite or whatever
Yeah.
and managed to scam people out of all of this money. And so that was recent.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's other ways to be a con artist, but
Okay,
yeah.
so I mean, you're saying his method of con
Yeah,
artistry would not work.
the check fraud, which this is based off of a true story.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
So, yeah, so basically we have Leonardo DiCaprio's character William Abagnale.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, not Abagnale. um,
Yeah.
and he runs away from home and earns money by writing fake checks and pretending to be people, which he was really good at.
Right. You know what got me was that first scene where he's going to the new school and then he just decided I'm going to pretend like I'm the substitute teacher.
Yeah.
And my thought was, is what makes someone say,
Well, the kid said, "You look like a sub."
yeah, but then I mean, but what makes you go from there being like, oh, that guy is being mean to me to I'm gonna get up in front of the class and pretend to be the teacher.
I don't know, man. I wish I had that kind of wit and confidence, which is probably how he got away with a lot of that. I
You
mean,
do have to have like the way because it's like you got to convince other people that what you're saying is true.
yeah,
So you got to have a ton of self confidence.
yeah. I mean, I guess if you, even though you know it's not true, if you just put a belief to yourself that it's true, then you
Mm-hmm.
can make it true out there. Like, hey, I'm a airline pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, true enough, right? I mean, the best way to get people to believe in you is you got to believe in yourself.
right, right. So who? Okay, he man, he definitely pulled it off. So what happened is his father's kind of a con artist too, just not as good.
Not great at it.
Yeah. So it's kind of where he learned a lot uh, of his skill from. But his father was getting chased down by the IRS for tax fraud, and his mother decided that it was a good time to have an affair because of that.
Yo.
Yeah,
So this was a nitpick, but we can bring it up. You know what time your kid get off from school?
yeah.
You figure you'll be done with your affair before the boy walked through the door.
And then I don't know, like they came out of the room all fully dressed and stuff, but she definitely did not play that well.
No.
Like it looked a little suspect, but
Yeah.
she could have played it better. She played it
Like,
horribly.
oh yeah, I'm just showing him the apartment. The bedroom though?
Yeah,
Like, come on.
yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's 16, not 6. Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Now, when they were getting a divorce, I thought she was going back to France.
That's what it made it seem like because because his grandmother was there
Yeah.
and all of that. I don't know, that divorce and I'm like, is this how you got divorced in the 60s?
Yeah, bro. And then they're like, okay, you just write the parents you want to be with. I'm like, bruh.
What?
Especially since I thought she was going to France. I'm like, how are you supposed to choose that? Because whoever I choose, I'm not seeing the other one.
So weird. I'm thinking that's completely made up. That's not how things happen in real life.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So he dips out. He chooses none.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at 16, so I guess he starts off trying his father's methods, which obviously doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And but then he sees like a pilot and like how much respect he got or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And what I thought was interesting, instead of just deciding, okay, well, I'm going to impersonate an airline pilot, he went and got all the information he needed first, which was so like, so he pretends to be a high school student doing a report on Pan Am,
Pan Am, yeah.
Pan Am, And so he gets into Pan Am and gets to talk to them. And of course, nobody's thinking twice about it, but he's just getting all this information that he can use to impersonate a pilot.
Which makes sense, right? Because if people start asking you questions, you have to be able to answer them.
Yeah.
So, like, and think like the way his father method wasn't working, right? His father method was kind of real direct.
Yeah.
That's not going to work for him. But it's like, if you doubt me, but then I can answer your questions, right? Like the first thing when he gets on that first flight, the guy says, "What kind of equipment are you on?" He has an answer to that. Because if he don't, then I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
So it's smart, right? So it's like he started doing all of this research. So like if I'm going to pretend to be a doctor, then I'm going to know a little bit of something about medicine.
Yeah. That was a bad idea.
That was a
And
very bad idea.
I don't know, we want to talk about it now or whatever.
Yeah, we can talk about
Whatever.
it
So
now.
we mentioned that. So later on in this, he impersonates a doctor, which I get. But I was like, that's such a horribly bad idea because first thing that came to mind to me is what if they ask you to do, I don't know, doctor things?
Yeah.
Like the airline pilot, it was a bit different because you're like each pilot is assigned a flight, like, hey, you're going to be flying from here to here. So he had no chance of actually being assigned to fly a plane.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor, you're working in the doctor office and they think you're a doctor?
Right. Like they sign you the emergency room.
Yeah.
Like, bruh. Like I said, like there's a kid in there with a broken leg and he's just like, I don't know what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
Which just doesn't make any sense. Good thing he was supposed to be in charge and let all the, residents or whatever do all the actual work, but that's a bad idea.
It was a horribly bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but it was interesting. Now my wife was asking like how could he do that? But I'm like, you know what? They didn't it's not like now where we can check someone's credentials.
Well, yes and no, because okay, they didn't have Google or the internet, but I would like to think, I get it's the 60s or whatever, and maybe people are more naive. But if I say I went to Harvard Medical School, that someone will pick up the phone to determine
And
if I
call.
actually graduated from Harvard.
You know what? I don't know. Do they really do that at jobs now?
Check your references.
Some do, bigger jobs do, but I've had plenty of jobs where I know they did not check.
I know I've gotten, I don't think, not one of the places like I've heard has actually checked my references.
Especially when you talk about a degree. Now, like your previous jobs, yeah, but are they calling the college you went to see if you got that degree?
No, but they're definitely going to be like, but see, here's the thing. I had to show my diploma plus my transcripts.
Yeah,
So it's one thing to say, "Hey, I graduated." It's another thing I had to prove to you that my GPA was what I said it was.
yeah.
I had to prove to you that I took these classes. So I would think, were they not asking for those either? Did they
But
just?
he maybe he forged it like he did everything else.
Oh, yeah, but then he would have to know what classes he needed to take and which professors he said he took them with.
Okay, yeah, he just had the diploma,
He just
right?
had a diploma.
I don't know, you know.
I would think, like, because a lot of these issues have been solved with a simple phone call.
True.
And so I don't know. I mean, I would think that someone would call and verify, especially if I'm like, oh, I used to work at this hospital, and hey, now you're in
For the
charge of the
doctor,
ER
I'm gonna say
department.
definitely.
Yeah,
Like someone should have verified. The lawyer actually was one of his better ideas, especially since he actually took the exam and passed it. Although
true.
he would be a horrible lawyer, but you could just say he's a bad lawyer, you know,
I mean, everyone who passes the bar doesn't mean you're a good lawyer.
right? He has his license, so technically he was legally a lawyer. He passed the bar.
I believe you also need to have,
You don't need to go to law school. You don't have to.
you need to go to law school to take the bar exam.
Technically, or you could be a paralegal for a little bit.
But
But
a little bit is a very long time, by the way.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like technically to be an engineer, you don't necessarily have to do that, but then you have to be in that field for like 25
So
years.
here's the question. So he wasn't supposed to be able to, so he lied to be able to take the bar,
So here's my
but he
thing.
passed the bar. So,
It's invalid because he didn't qualify to take the test in the first place.
okay.
My thing is,
But
usually
isn't he went checking after that point? Like if I take an engineer's exam, somehow get past, get in, and I actually get my license, Are they
They
just checking that I got the license, or are they going back to check like, hey, should he been able to take this exam?
every once in a while people get audited.
Okay.
Now I would say this. Now maybe it was different back in the day, and I gotta say this because the '60s is weird and different.
Yeah.
In order to get into a licensing exam, they gotta check your ID at first. It's like there's a lot of steps involved.
Yeah. Well, we're also talking about now where even checking that it means way more than it did in the 60s.
Okay, I don't know.
Because
I
he
just feel
obviously
like
made fraudulent IDs and stuff.
yeah, I just feel like something as serious as that. There's like a whole sign up process. It's not like I can just walk in and say, "Hey, today I'm going to take my engineering
He
exam."
also had the in of his fiance's father.
To get into the bar,
You know how people nepotism, man.
not to take the bar exam.
You don't think it happens?
No, I don't think it happens because in order to even sign up for it, one, you have to prove that you qualify to do it. So, like I said, either prove that you worked X amount of years as a paralegal or that you graduated from an accredited school before you can even sign up to take the test.
Right.
Then to get into the exam room, you need your ID and all of that. So I don't know how you just stroll in and said, "I'm going to pass the Louisiana bar."
Maybe it's Louisiana.
But I
I don't
mean,
know.
rules could have changed. I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean,
it
we are
seems
talking a very long time ago.
it seems a little far fetched.
It does. It does. But hey, I don't know. The checks. Now, as a person that worked in the banking system, my question was his first few checks before he got the Micker machine,
Mm-hmm.
which, if people don't know, that's how they put that magnetic, weird looking numbers on the bottom of your
Mm-hmm.
checks. If you were born after 2000, a check is something that you write. It's like a promissory. No, wait, should I say that?
No one
Uh,
knows what a promise. I don't know what a promissory note is.
it's it. Hmm. It's a piece of paper where you say, "I have money in my account and I'm going to give it to you."
It's a
There
paper
you go.
version of your debit card. Why are you
Yes.
making it so
I
difficult?
don't know. I'm trying to explain it to those people that
But you
don't.
just made it hard. It's the paper version of your debit card where you say, "I'm going to give you $60 and I guarantee you this $60 is in my bank
Yeah.
account."
Now, his way of kiting is what it's called, floating checks,
Mm-hmm.
actually would have worked very well back then.
Is that the routing thing where he gets a routing number from San Francisco, so then they got to send it to San
Yeah, the
Francisco?
check literally had, the way they explained it in the movie was right. The check literally had to go to San Francisco, which takes about 2 weeks, which is why when you deposit checks, there were 2 week codes. They don't really need that anymore, to be honest, because it's electronic. It
Mm-hmm.
pretty much a couple of days is really all you need, but whatever. But yeah, that's why they had this 2 week code. Um, except for he was cashing paychecks,
Mm-hmm.
which people trust, even down to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that would work because the bank wouldn't know it was a bad check until 2 weeks later, and then by that time he's
He's
gone.
already got the money and he's gone.
Yeah,
Okay, interesting.
yeah. So it would work. I'm just wondering those first few checks because I'm like, how did you do this if you didn't have the Micker printer? He found out from the teller how all of that worked
Right.
by schmoozing her. Is that the word? Schmooze? Is that what you used to do on The Sims?
Yeah, if you
Schmooze?
could smooth.
So he schmoozed the teller
Yeah.
and figured out how it worked and then bought a used Micker printer.
Mm-hmm.
Which was smart in putting the pen and some all that was I was like that was ingenious for a 16-year-old
That's pretty ingenious.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he that would have worked later on. I don't know what tellers was cashing his first checks.
Maybe they weren't paying that close attention.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you miss that?
But then remember, that's the whole thing about the confidence in the look, right? You go in there, you're dressed as a pilot, right? You
Mhm.
got your Pan Man check or whatever. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
This guy's legit.
Yeah. So there's that part. Now, I think if he stopped sooner, he would never have been caught.
I feel like he kind of wanted it. Like this whole thing, like especially towards the end of the movie, it's just he's a kid and he's lonely, and he did all of this to make his father proud.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like it's like he wanted to stop but couldn't really, because this is kind of became like who he is.
Yeah.
But I really got the kind of feeling like he was okay if he got caught.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I guess he would. Yeah, I guess he said it would be okay if he got caught.
Yeah.
Um, and that was the thing, because he wanted, when he got the lawyer thing going, that's he wanted to just end all of that. I guess he was going to pretend to be a lawyer, hopefully get better through experience. You're gonna have to read some laws, bruh.
Yeah, there's a reason
Um,
why there's a lot of books.
I mean, yes, lawyers do need to go to school for a long time, and that's for a reason.
Yeah.
um, but I mean, whatevs, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get a chance to quit because he called the FBI. Like, well, like you said, I guess he wanted to get caught.
I think he kind of wanted to get caught.
Yeah,
And then, like, what did the handwriting say? Like, you called me on Christmas because you had no one else to call.
yeah, he
He didn't
didn't.
have anybody.
That's true. That's true. Oh, also because he called after his Jennifer Garner um
Yeah.
meetup.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in this movie.
A lot of people in this movie.
Also, I had to look up how old Amy Adams was because I was like, Amy Adams is in this. I was like, how old is Amy Adams? And surprisingly, she's like 48.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I would have put her in like early 40s at the latest.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
she looks pretty young still.
Yeah, I didn't realize she was almost 50.
Not that she's not young still, but
Sure.
it was a compliment for Amy Adams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, a lot of people in this movie, but okay, some of the people, like, okay, the stewardess, I'm like, I guess giving you a necklace just goes like, hey, let's go to the bedroom now. What was that?
I don't know, but then, I mean, I don't know if he looked like Leonardo DiCaprio. Do you really care? It's not like he's a sidewalk monster.
Okay, sidewalk monster. What is that? What is a sidewalk monster? I would need to. I've never heard this term before.
I'm just saying, like, the guy's a pilot,
Mhm.
right? He's nice looking, right? He gives you this lame line about, is this your necklace or whatever?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, if he looked like Shrek, absolutely not.
yeah, because then that's sexual harassment.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Remember, guys,
absolutely
it's
is.
only sexual harassment if the person is not attractive.
Unfortunately. But I mean,
That's not true because
it's not true.
it's not true.
It's
But
not true. But unfortunately, I will say a good looking person can get away with that more than an unattractive person.
absolutely, yeah, yeah, that's true. So, so he does that. Jennifer Garner, I was like,
That was
that was so weird. She just
so
prostituted
weird.
herself.
I was like,
Aren't you a model? She was playing a
it,
model.
she was playing them up, which I didn't understand. I was like, so do you just need the money? Like, I
Or
didn't
are
really
you just like
understand.
selling yourself to rich people?
I didn't really understand the turn of events because I'm like, oh, okay, you were gonna do this anyway, and then you were like, well, let me get
She was
paid
like,
for
no,
it
I could
first.
get paid to do this.
I did not understand that change of scenario.
And then she didn't get paid to do it
Yeah,
because
she ended up paying him, which is just also very disturbing.
he had a $1,400 quote unquote cashier's check.
Yeah, very disturbing. I'm like, what? Oh no, what's disturbing the most was at this point he's like 16.
Yes. So all of these people, statutory. Well, no, it doesn't cut because he's lying to them.
Uh, it doesn't matter if he lies or not.
It's still statutory.
Yes,
But they think, like,
it
honestly, he's
doesn't
impersonating.
matter if
He's telling people he's
It doesn't
28.
matter. It doesn't matter.
Wow, that sucks.
It does.
Because I mean, like, I would not want a person to go to jail because some guy said he was 28 years old and he's really 16.
That's the law.
That sucks. I mean, they weren't trying to be
It
a
doesn't
rapist.
matter. Yes.
Ah, that's some. We need some. We need some bylines on that, or some gray area. Because I'm like, especially in this situation.
No, I agree, but that's the law. But I mean, you know, the judges and juries can make up their own minds about those things. But I'm saying is that could they have gotten arrested and went to jail for this? The answer to that is yes.
Well, that sucks. So yeah, but apparently he's getting all these people. How old was Amy Adams? I don't know. Like
So,
she was a nurse, but she didn't seem that old.
no, I'm guessing early 20s.
Yeah,
No more than 25.
she seemed very immature.
She was very immature, which did make me wonder, like, this is the person you fell in love with? Seemed very weird to me. Like, that whole
I think
relationship
no,
was
I
just
think he
strange.
just wanted to be in a solid relationship.
Really? So that's why he told her to come to Miami? Because I'm like, bro, you can get anybody else. Like, it just seemed weird that that was the one
Well,
he chose.
yeah. Well, if you see like throughout during that part of the movie, he just wanted. He's like, I'm gonna. I think he told his dad, I'm gonna have a family and blah blah blah.
Okay.
So I think he just wanted to end that. And you remember him calling Hannity, whatever,
Hand ready.
Hanratty, uh, him calling him and saying, "Stop chasing me. It's over." Like
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to just kind of
Okay.
have a normal life.
Okay.
So I don't even think it was about her. It was just at the time who it was.
Oh, okay. All right. She was his. Is it ends to a means? Is that what the how that saying goes?
Means to an end.
Means to an end. There you
Yes.
go. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But okay, so what I was saying with if he would have gotten away with it if he stopped sooner before he even switched over to the doctor thing,
Mm-hmm.
because by the end of this he defrauded the banks out of $4 million
Which is a ton of money.
in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't look up the conversion,
I
but
did too. I didn't get around to it.
it's got to be a whole lot. $100 million. I don't know. Like, it's got to be a ton of money.
Yeah.
Um, but even before then, like when the FBI went to his mom, they
Mm-hmm.
said he had at that point it was 1.8 million,
Yeah.
which is still a ton of money
Yeah.
in the 60s. It's a ton of money now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
even more then. I was like, at that point, what you once you have a certain amount, you stop. You have the money, right? But instead of buying, and I know he's trying to impress his dad, instead of buying cars and houses and this and that,
Mm-hmm.
um, if he takes it even into it put it into an account to live off of. I always say this with money. He could have done that. So you cash that last check, move somewhere else, because they can only follow the checks eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after that last check, if you go to another state far away and then slowly start putting that money into an account, he would have been set.
He would, but I mean that's true with anything, right? It's like you always supposed to stop while you're ahead, but people can't because it's the thrill of it.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. It would be about $37.5 million
The 1.8,
to four
the
million.
four, so $37 million.
That was, but I did it in 1965 to kind of be in the middle of when all this happened.
Okay, $37 million. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I mean, even now, if someone gets defrauded for $4 million, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then, yeah,
What's 1% of that? $370,000
yeah, yeah.
interest every year. Jeez, that on 1%. Assuming you get 1%. I don't know what the interest rates are now, but wow. Okay. See, he would have been fine.
Yeah, but
Interest rate were probably 4% in the
there's
60s.
a reason why people can't stop.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, but I don't, these type of movies is so interesting, especially since it's based off of. I'm gonna put the quotes on it, based off of a true story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you, I don't know. I like the intelligence of it. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see where it goes. And I'm like, I shouldn't be rooting for the bad guy, but I was like, he's
Well, that's kind of the thing too. Like this entire time, he's so likable. You're just wanting to see like what he's going to do next and how is he going to get away with this or like how he's going to do his next con. And it's just kind of like it's kind of cool, kind of like Ocean's 11.
yeah,
How like they're all the bad guys and you want them to rob the casino and get away.
yeah, yeah. See, yeah, you need a personality like that where it's like
Mm-hmm.
people just believe you
Yeah.
when you talk.
Yeah.
Like yeah, that's good. That's good. Um, this movie had an intro scene, and I was saying, wow, we don't do these anymore. Movies don't have
I don't know.
introductions or whatever, unless it's James Bond. And then 20 minutes into this intro scene, I was like, this intro thing is way too long. It wasn't 20 minutes, but it was super long. It was like the entire credits before the movie started.
Well, most intros are.
All of it, it was everybody.
Well, there's a ton of people in this movie. I
Man,
mean, maybe they went with less famous people to play these characters. It wouldn't have been so long.
I'm like, man, jeez. Is James Bond's intros that long? I don't think
They're
they're.
whole songs. What do you mean are they that
They are
long?
whole songs. It's true. It just felt long. Well, but this wasn't a song. It
It
was
was
just do do do
it got
do
nominated
do
for
do
an
do.
Oscar, so
I mean, I don't mind it.
said
It doesn't deserve an Oscar.
it got nominated. I don't know who won.
um, it's likable, but that intro seems long. I don't know if it was just me.
I was fine with it.
No, no, okay. All right. All right. What else did we talk about? William Abagnale
I think,
Jr.
yes. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the gist of the movie, you know?
Yeah, yeah. He does. He gets caught in France. But oh, so his last thing was pretty smart. He was printing actual checks, which I'm like, how did he get caught with it? Did the company just go like, "Hey, who's approving these checks to go out?"
Uh, yeah, because I mean, there was a whole scene explaining how, like, okay, he's now in Europe. Yeah, I think it was just basically the airline caught on.
Yeah,
So then there was like the difference is this isn't no longer a fake check. This is a real check that he made.
right. That's why it took them longer than 2 weeks to figure it out. Because
Yeah.
if you ever seen like an accounts payable thing, well, there was someone recently who
Mm-hmm.
got paid. I think it was like $1.5 million or something like that, because they just made a fake bill and sent it to like Microsoft and Google. And if you seen accounts payable, they just get the bill and
And
it's
they
like,
pay it. Yeah.
okay, and they pay it.
Especially for a company like Google, how many bills do they got? They be like, we owe what to who? Okay, and
Yeah,
then you pay it and you move
yeah.
on.
Like, I'm a door company. I fixed the door somewhere, like,
Yeah.
And I don't even know how he got caught. Like this,
Probably because
during an audit.
I
No,
was like, eventually they get audited, and then
yeah,
someone says, "Hold up, we didn't do this work."
yeah, and that's probably what happened here. There
Yeah.
being real checks, it just goes through the banking system. It gets charged to Pan Am,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Until they audit it and saying, well, who's whatever name he's using,
Yeah.
who's this that we're paying?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Frank William Abagnale.
Yes. Frank
Abagnale
William Abagnale Jr.
Jr. There you
Yes.
go. Because he always used Frank.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that was pretty good, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But he still got caught.
Yep. All right. Are we ready for random movie facts?
Random movie facts.
Yes. So, casting James Gandolfini, the guy from The Sopranos.
Mm-hmm.
He was originally cast for Carl Hanratty.
Mm.
That'd have been interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would have been pretty good.
I like that. But The Sopranos interfered with his schedule, so
I would imagine.
I would imagine The
Yeah.
Sopranos might have gotten away with that. I mean, don't get me. Tom Hanks is great, but it would have been interesting to see a Sopranos version of that character.
Yeah, that would have been different. But I like Tom Hanks in it doing a Boston accent. Is he doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because he was based off of several different FBI agents, but the main agent was a Joseph Shea, who is from Boston, and I think that's where he got his
Mm-hmm.
stuff from. Okay, this movie made $352 million off of a $52 million budget,
Money.
so successful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Frank Abagnale really did appear on an episode of To Tell the Truth.
Okay.
So that really did happen. So if anyone don't know, it's an old game show where two people are lying and one person is telling the truth, and then the contestants got to determine who is the real person.
Oh, okay.
I believe no one guessed the real person.
Of course, because if he can make you believe him, he can make you
Yeah.
believe that he's not.
Yeah. So in real life, after he ran away, he never saw his father again.
Oh.
So sad.
Oh, okay. So
But I guess
get those
maybe
extra scenes with
he
the
didn't
dad.
really want to. I don't know. Okay, so this is where we're gonna talk a little bit about whether or not this was a true story or not.
Okay.
So this movie is based off of an autobiography written by Frank Abagnale
I don't trust anything he's written.
called Catch Me If You Can.
He's a con man. Hold on.
So I'm glad you said that. So recently, a lot of journalists and people have been doing a little bit of research on the things he's been saying, and basically their conclusion is the greatest con he ever pulled off was the myth of Frank Abagnale Jr. They're saying like, so Frank is saying, hey, the movie was very accurate to my book. All this stuff happened. People's like, hold up, you're a big old liar. None of this stuff happened.
Yeah, did Pan Am say they got money stolen from him?
I'm glad you brought that up. So, did he pose as a pilot? Yes, but they said it was only for a few weeks for TWA, and he managed to cash about 10 bad checks, totaling about $1,500. Pam Am said there is no way he would have been able to steal millions of dollars from us without us noticing.
Right.
So, and the spokesperson for Pam Am said Frank is as phony as a $3 bill.
Well, once you mentioned that this is based off his autobiography, I'm like, but wait, we just saw the movie, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He lied.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, they're saying the biggest lie he ever told was basically making himself larger than life, and everyone's saying none of the stuff he said happened. So main thing between 1965 and 1968, where he says before the age of 19, I managed to scam $4 million out of people. They're like, this dude was in prison.
Mm.
Then he gets out of prison and then ends up going back to prison. So the time where he said like the FBI is hunting him down, he was in prison.
Okay.
Right. Um, and then no one has been able to prove that he actually managed to pass the Louisiana bar. But then
I mean, it'd be hard to see. He said he studied for 2 weeks and passed it. I'm like, I don't how.
Because there's a lot involved.
Yeah.
Because you got to cover 4 years worth of law school.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that answered all of our bar questions from earlier.
See, that's
it
what I'm
didn't
saying.
really happen.
It didn't really happen. So then he says he passed the bar and managed to work for an attorney general. So there was going to be a whole story about him in the Inquirer, whatever
Yep.
yeah.
That words are hard.
Yep, they are. So basically, the assistant attorney called the reporter and said this guy's a liar. Asked him a bunch of questions about this guy he claims to work with, like basically what he looks like, how does he sound, blah 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 blah. They was like Frank got all of the questions wrong. He didn't answer a single one correctly, and so then they decided not to do the story on him. But it didn't matter because at that time he's appearing on the Tonight Show and all of these other things, making it seem like, hey, I'm this larger than life character. No one has been able to prove that he actually worked for the FBI. The FBI said that yeah, he did do a couple of guest speeches for them or whatever, but no one's gonna say that whether because at the end of the movie they're saying he worked for the FBI and he did this and this and this. Nobody can prove that actually happened. And then he even lied about things that can be easily proven. Like he said that he was like the FBI released a coffee table book.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm in this book. The dude was like, I bought the book and he's not in it. So yeah, the guy's a big old liar. Like
Wow.
he's a con man, but he's not.
Well, I mean, it worked. He got a movie made out of his book and everything.
Right? I mean, he managed to. I mean, he made himself. He's like now he is a millionaire.
Yeah.
But
is he really a con man or just an author?
He's a very good liar.
That's true. I mean, maybe you just move his book from nonfiction to fiction and then everything's all right.
Right, but think about it. Like all of these TV appearances, all of these stories he's telling, right?
Yeah.
He's doing speeches and conferences and stuff, basically about how I got away with committing all of these crimes because I'm just so good. And it turns out you never even committed none of these crimes.
So my intro statement that this wouldn't work nowadays goes for the 60s too. This would also not work in the 60s.
Right.
Well, see, that's why I had a problem with those checks. I'm like, how would you, the first few fake checks he made, I'm like, how would they even get cashed? There is no teller on the face of the earth that's going to accept a check without a Micker print on the bottom. You get fired the next day.
There you go. That's why it didn't work, because it didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't work because it didn't happen. Yeah, so I mean, very interesting story. I mean, look, if he believes that lie, then by all means. But I mean, you figured back then where people are believing there's no internet, right?
Yeah,
So they can't just look it up. So I could see how the reporters and stuff is like, oh wow, that's very interesting or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
But then, and then even when Frank gets questioned about this, he's like, well, they won't admit it because they're all embarrassed about like how easily I scanned them. But I just kind of feel like if you really did take 4 million from Pam Am, they absolutely would try to get that money back from you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
I just
There's going to be some court cases. It's not just you go to jail for it. Like there's
right,
civil cases going to go against
exactly.
you.
Like you owe them this money now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the guy said like, okay, $1,000 is one thing, but millions of dollars, they would have had the cut on sooner than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, the guy's a liar. um,
Wow. I am. I feel so. I don't know. Like I've been lied to. Because when I was a kid and I saw this movie, I absolutely thought it was all true.
well, watching it I realized I have never seen the entirety of this movie.
I think I have.
Cause I feel like there was a lot of stuff I'm like, oh, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, at the beginning, I was like, I don't remember seeing this, but I figured it's been year, probably
Oh,
more
maybe
than a
I'm just not
decade since I saw it.
remembering.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like so while I was watching it, I'm just saying to myself, this cannot have been true. It's just
Well,
so
I
far
figured it
fetched.
was like liberties taken for the movie. I was
Right.
like, okay, these are some movie liberties, but now the whole story's not true.
The whole story is a liberty.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like I think he attempted most of these things, but he just kind of made it a larger than life.
Hmm.
Like, what was the name of the girl? Brenda. That was Amy
Yeah,
Adams.
yeah, Brenda.
So apparently that was based off a person in real life that he actually stalked. That
Hmm.
she was a flight and that she was a flight attendant. So I guess there's a couple of characters merged together.
Yeah.
And basically, she's like, I'm not interested in you. Please leave me alone. So then he decided to go to her family's house and say, oh, hey, I believe her name was Paula. I'm Paula's friend. So
Hmm.
he's like staying at her family home. Then he managed to get some money out of them. And he's like, this guy's a creep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ah, man, if you weren't played by I can't even think of his name.
Leonardo
Leonardo
DiCaprio.
DiCaprio, man.
Yeah.
Horrible. Horrible. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now I never want to see this movie again. No.
It was just interesting. I mean, like watching, I was like, this could not have happened. It didn't. It
We
didn't.
should make a modern version of this. I mean, like, there's people who have done actual cons that have actually done this,
True.
and we should make a movie out of it. I don't know. Would it be interesting? No, like I mentioned the guy that wrote bills. That's not interesting.
Well, I said inventing Adam.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she managed to con people, I guess, of a couple $1 million or whatever.
Mhm.
Didn't I think even then the jury felt
Wasn't someone
sorry
that
for
was
her?
like taking um like pennies out of people's like all the billionaires' accounts?
Oh, that's kind of smart.
Yeah. I don't know how he got caught. Like, cause who sat up there and looked at like a low.
Maybe there's just like, why is this guy always depositing 1 cent into his bank account? I mean, that's kind of
Oh,
ingenious
it
because,
probably on the other end, his bank account's getting all of these like
yeah,
1 cent deposits. Yeah, but yeah, no, it was a smart idea because what billionaire is going to notice that small transaction? I mean, I doubt they'd notice 100.
I wouldn't notice if you took a penny out of my bank account.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't either, and I don't have any money. So.
Like I wouldn't notice at all. I mean, it took me a while to realize I was getting charged a convenience fee on my bank account.
You were? Oh wow, that sucks.
I know. I was like, wait a minute. How long have this been happening?
No, you ever notice like a bill and you're like, how long have I been paying this?
Hmm.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Then I'm like, well, let me stop this. Yeah, so that's pretty smart.
yeah,
Hmm. Makes you
yeah.
wonder.
I'm gonna start taking pennies out of billionaires' accounts.
I mean, if it works.
Maybe I should send a bill to like Progressive or something.
Progressive, like, wait a minute, you owe us money.
Like, no, 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 don't look into this. No. Yeah.
I read this book once, which I also like how I would like if I was like getting extra cash from somewhere.
Hmm.
My thought was like, oh, I would just like pay my groceries and stuff in cash.
Yeah.
So then that way I wouldn't have extra money going into my bank account, but I can spend all my ill-gotten funds.
Yes, because cash is not traceable.
But so this book I read, they caught the person because they was like all of a sudden they stopped spending money on groceries and stuff.
Ah,
I was like, ah.
come
So it
on, man.
wouldn't work. Like that was like my ingenious plan. Like whenever my Target runs and grocery runs,
This is why you have fake businesses.
that's why it wouldn't work. I need a fake business to launder my fake ill-gotten
Fake
gains.
jewelry business, okay?
Yes, because
And we just start putting cash in the bank. Like, oh, we went to a craft fair and we made $500.
mm-hmm.
There you go. You can't say we didn't.
How would you know?
Yes, and then it's clean.
Yes. So yeah,
I think they have a name for that. No.
I mean, not that I would ever break the law.
Yeah, no, I'm not a money launderer, and I've never laundered any money
Nope.
except for in my washing machine.
Because yeah. So I don't even know why we started talking about that.
Because William or Frank William Agnell is a fake, so we were looking at real people.
And then how we would get away with it, but
Mhm.
not because
Of course, I'm not a criminal, so I would never.
I would never break the law.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. So we did mention most of my nitpicks.
The whole movie's a nitpick.
Yes, the whole movie
I'm
is.
now the entire movie is a nitpick.
Hey, man.
I don't know if that came through on the what's the name. The chair's gonna break. No, yeah, I gained a few pounds,
Don't
but
break my cheap furniture.
it's old anyway.
I know. I need
All right.
new stuff. So I just have one left.
Okay.
How exactly did he get an Aston Martin?
Yeah, I was thinking. I was like, that's expensive. That and then you can't pay that with cash.
You cannot.
That throws up all types of red flags.
People question when you pay things in cash with that cost that much money.
There are several forms.
First of all, they do not like it.
No, they don't. You heard of Mr. Beast?
Yes.
Okay, so this had to be a long time ago, but I think he bought a car with pennies or something.
Mm-hmm.
If he was not a like YouTube star, there is no way that goes down.
I bought a car. I put half of it in cash. And I did use a lot
Not
of
pennies.
No, not pennies.
Okay.
But I will say they were not happy about it. Because it was small bills. And they're like
Better get a money counter out. Where'd you get this money?
I mean, I did it on purpose, but my thing is they do not like when you make big purchases.
You should do that. Well, the bank don't like when you take that much money out.
No, they also don't like you to do that either.
Yeah.
So that was my last nitpick. Where'd he get this car from? But apparently
That should have been all of our red flags. But again, I thought that, like, okay, this movie.
Well, see, I figured that would have been made up.
Yeah,
I didn't read the
because
book
of the James Bond thing.
yeah.
You
So
know.
I'm figuring that part would probably have been the made up part.
Yeah.
Because he did, when he got the suit that apparently Sean Connery wore and Goldfinger, he said his name was Fleming, which, by the way, you would have to be a dummy to think this guy's last name was really Fleming. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I think at that time, everyone knows what Ian Fleming looks like.
Yeah. Well, did they actually think he was in Fleming, or was it a coincidence that they had the same last name?
This guy asked for the James Bond suit, and then he named
Because
himself.
his name is Fleming. So, you want to live up to the name.
Okay. All right.
I mean, there's chances there's people named Michael Jordan. Maybe they wear 23s. I don't know. So, look,
Okay.
it could be anything. Yeah. So, all right. So those are our nitpicks.
Mm-hmm.
Are we?
Oh, I forgot one more thing. This is not really a nitpick. This is actual fact. He would not have been able to escape from the airplane through the toilet. They said that cannot happen.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think that's a.
It
Does it
can't
not
happen.
release into the air
It does.
anyway?
They said like one, if he managed to get the thing up, he's not going anywhere. It cannot happen. First of all, the guy said it's not even big enough for a person to fit through. So just not a thing that can happen.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's a good nitpick. I didn't think that could happen. I was like, just weird. It'd be a weird way to design an
Yeah.
airplane.
They're
Because
like,
then all the poop will be going onto the.
it's inside the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm,
Doesn't make any sense. That's
horrible.
gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super gross.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gross that we release it out into the atmosphere, but whatever.
You just breathe in the poop air. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's not any worse than the air we breathe now. So.
Yes.
Okay, so are we rating the movie then?
We are.
Okay, I'm gonna give it now a reluctant. I'd pay for that because it is a very entertaining movie.
The movie, it is good. It's very entertaining. It's directed by Steven Spielberg, which I don't think we said before.
Oh, DreamWorks?
Was this a DreamWorks?
This is a DreamWorks movie at the beginning.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention.
And I was like,
they make more than cartoons.
oh, and with the last DreamWorks movie you saw?
I was going to name something, but it was older than this.
Whenever I see DreamWorks, I can only think of Shrek. I know they come out with
I was
more.
thinking E.T. Was E.T. a DreamWorks movie?
No, that's New Line. No,
What's the one with the guy in the? Oh wait, that happened in the movie.
but
Never mind.
it is though.
It is.
It's not New Line though.
It's something with an A.
I have no idea.
Sorry, guys.
I know whatever. New Line Cinema is not a thing anymore. So, but yeah, it's the thing with the bike and the stuff in the moon, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same company.
Okay.
Whatever. But okay, so as you were saying, it's Spielberg.
I honestly don't even remember.
It was directed by Spielberg. It's a very entertaining movie.
It is a very good movie. Yeah, the guy, he's a big old fake, but it's good regardless. Like, you will enjoy watching it. So even though none of this stuff actually happens, you should see the movie if you haven't.
I'm disappointed.
Sorry, maybe I should have kept all that to myself.
No, it's fine. All right, so that is Catch Me If You Can. If you've never seen a movie, definitely check it out. It's an interesting look. Obviously, none of these cons would work, but it's believable in the movie, especially with Leo playing him. You know, I guess Leo can play anybody. So yeah, and you know, you can't go wrong with Tom Hanks.
You really can't.
So yeah, definitely check it out. We rate it well, so go watch it. With that being said, make sure you leave a like and subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. Leave a comment if you can, a rating and a review, because that will allow other people to find our podcast so we can entertain more people. Maybe we should just make a con podcast. Is there a way for us to do that?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
We'll think about
We'll
it.
figure it out. We'll figure it out. Man, we're conning you right now because you've listened to our podcast. Somehow. I don't know. But with that being said, thanks for listening, guys. We will catch you next time.